Well, you actually brought some very special consoles today.
I did. We're going to go through these pretty quickly, but we'll start off with a prototype. So this is a prototype of a PlayStation 3 Slim, and so you can see it actually pulls apart like this.
Whoa!
And
wow! And the Slim was this the very last one with the sliding thing
yes,
on top?
yeah. I guess the Super Slim is what some people call it.
Right.
This is a hardware prototype, and it's designed for people to basically test the motherboard. This is not like heat or anything. Obviously, it's drilled through.
What's this thing right
that's
here?
actually the power switch. Like I said, this is very much like try to get it into a QA person's hands as quickly as possible. And what we can do by studying prototypes is look at, was there an evolution? Does this differ from production versions? Did they add anything? Did they subtract anything?
Now, does this work?
It does work, yeah.
So if you took like a standard Sony cable and plugged it in?
You would plug it in and you would have the QA person's PlayStation ID pop up.
Oh man, is it like a strange different like BIOS or anything? Or is it just like...
It looks just like a slightly buggier version of the dashboard. Those are constantly going through revisions as well. So it's one of those like neat little artifacts. We're trying to keep it just so people can, like I said, take a look at the board and in the future do those comparisons.
Now, how did you get this?
So this was actually found at a flea market in
the Bay
Area. So
something tells me the QA person wasn't supposed to do that.
Yeah, they probably weren't. But
so you go
steal from work.
You go treasure hunting, basically.
We do. And so another treasure hunt find was this.
Oh my God. This is awesome.
Yes. So when Fox released the Simpsons movie, they made 100 of these as a promo item for the film. And so it's really bright yellow. It's got Homer on the front. And,
the yellow color is like, I don't know if you can pick that up on video. It's loud. It's like
gorgeous.
Bumblebee.
Yeah.
And is this painted or is this?
It's painted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I see. There's a little bit of a ding there.
Yeah. We got a little crack in the corner, but. This is the Xbox 360 specifically was one of those consoles that was used for tons of promotions. Like every Comic-Con, it's like, get the Watchmen, win this Watchmen 360 or, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull 360.
Now, how hard was it to get your hands on this?
So there's 100 of them and a lot of them hit eBay really fast. And that's like, you'll see that with any contest systems nowadays. They were going for like $800 to $1,000.
Oh my God.
But usually, if you want to get one of these, I usually tell people to try to get them as quickly as possible because the availability just drops. Like that gold Taco Bell PS4, that showed up a bunch of places, and now it's getting a little bit harder to find.
Well, it seems like the kind of thing that some people win the contest and they're like, I want to put this on eBay, and some people are like, I want to keep this forever.
Yes.
In my house.
Yes.
And then you got to wait until they die and their relatives sell their things.
So there's like two waves of selling.
Yeah, so I was going to say, is there like a sort of arc where it's like very expensive and then it drops, or?
It depends on the item and how many of them. In this case, there were 100 of them, so that's actually quite a lot. For a promotional, usually it's within like a handful of them or like 50. But this is one where there's one of two. This is the McDonald's All-American Game 2009.
There is a lot going on here. Okay, so you've got the fat PS3.
Yes, this is the fat PS3,
which is fitting for a fast food item. But then there's also All-American basketball.
Yeah. The McDonald's All-American Game is kind of like the All-Star Game for high school basketball.
Okay.
And they gave out two systems to the MVPs, the male and the female, and this is one of those systems.
How did you get this?
So this was actually sold. Like you said, some people care about keeping these things, some people don't. And this was, in 2009, one of those winners decided they didn't want to keep it.
And this is like laser engraved on the top here?
Yeah, I think it's painted, and then there's a bunch of layers of clear coat on top, so that are printed on there. So
that's incredible.
Really cool artifact.
The juxtaposition of all of these things is really funny to me because it's like a bunch of things that make you sedentary and a bunch of things that make you exercise.
Right. All right. So next thing.
You're like building a fort around.
We are. Yeah. So we had first the bedazzled NYC Peach Nintendo DS.
Can we get like a really close shot of this? This thing is just gorgeous.
Yeah. So this was sold in the Nintendo World Store in New York, and they made 10 of them. Each has its own unique design.
10?
So 10, right.
So these were custom bedazzled?
Custom bedazzled for Nintendo. So they actually sold these for $500 a piece.
Oh my God.
In the NWC store, yeah. So
this is interesting because Nintendo is known for being so kind of specific about staying on brand.
Yeah.
This doesn't look like an official Nintendo item at all.
No, it doesn't. And that's, I think, the strangest thing. There's a couple that kind of fit into this weird, like, Nintendo custom world, licensed by Nintendo themselves. And then there's this one, which is the 50 Cent GUnit custom DS. So
oh my God, that's awesome!
50, he commissioned 50 of these.
Really?
For GUnit. And
I didn't realize there were 50 members in GUnit.
well, there's hangers on, right? Some of the entourage.
Weed carriers.
Yeah,
so fun.
yeah, exactly. The guy with the backpack gets one as well. And this was, there's one of 50 of these, and it's one of those really cool. How are people giving gifts to their friends using video games, right? No, this is like, go ahead.
I love the idea of like 50 Cent and his entourage playing like Feel the Magic and Sprung.
Right.
And, no, I've always felt that like 50 Cent is definitely like a
Ping Pals.
very high level teenager.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, my grandma's making me take out the trash. I just want to play my DS.
This is actually a great. This is a great DS to play anywhere because no one can see you.
Right. Yeah.
That's probably why they
your
made
hands
50
are just
of them,
floating in midair.
I imagine they would get lost on the many GUnit woodland hikes.
Okay, so
Yes.
who did you have to fight a GUnit?
No, this was, once again, someone who was gifted or re-gifted the system, and then it was sold to that person.
Yeah, one of the hard times for the GUnit members.
All right, so now the last thing is the thing. When I first heard about it, I said, the Indiana Jones line, this belongs in a museum. All right, and it does belong in a museum, and it is so actually going to a museum.
Oh my God!
This is the very first production TurboGrafx 16.
What?
So literally the first one off the line, and encased it in this little case here, and then was on display at the NEC headquarters. In Chicago,
that's so cool.
when they were working on the TurboGrafx.
Oh my God!
So
that's a special spot because you get the contest stuff and then you get the kind of corporate vanity items,
right?
Yeah.
Where they're like, this is for the front of our .
Yeah.
And then they're like, maybe
Well, at the end of the days of the TurboGrafx and Turbo Technology, they were really kind of running on fumes,
right?
And it was like, this has been a failure, and people just wanted to kind of separate themselves from it.
Yeah.
And that's how this gets out into the public. It's like, we're shutting down the office. Does anybody want that TurboGrafx? And yes, of course we do.
Yeah, that's so cool because I think it's like people have fond memories of the TurboGrafx. Not a ton of people have fond memories. There's not a ton of fond memories to have.
Right.
But it had some cool games that I think a lot of people really remember.
Is it the serial or the
production
production number
97 HA.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is one of those pieces where it does no good sitting in my house or storage or something. Like, I want this to be in somebody's collection, like some museum's collection, to really tell the story of the console generations, right? Like how everything evolved.